Hello everyone. Hope you understood the integrated rate equation which we dealt with the last class. Okay. Have you drawn the graph? There are three graphs, one for the zero order reaction and two for the first order reaction. Okay. Now today the topic is the first order gas phase reaction. Okay. Till now we were saying that the reactants are converting into products. Okay. Now we will see how the first order equation or the rate constant for a gas phase reaction. That means in which all the reactants as well as the products are in the gaseous phase, and experimentally it is proven that it is a first order reaction. Okay. So we will see how or what is the rate constant for a first order reaction. Okay. So let's start. In a reaction, for example, A giving B plus C, that is reactant giving products. And we know, since this is a gas phase reaction, this A is a gas, B and C is a gas. Okay. Now, in the case of a gaseous equation or a gaseous reaction, instead of concentration, we will use partial pressure, isn't it? This we have discussed where? This we have discussed in the, while we are discussing the rate constant, isn't it? While we are deriving the unit of rate constant, there we discussed if our reactants are on the gaseous phase, instead of concentration, that is mole per liter, molarity, we will use atmos. Why? Because partial pressure is used. For gas, we will use the partial pressure. Okay. Now, if that is the case, see, if the pressure, so we are dealing with pressure, right? So, if the initial pressure of the A reactant is Pi, okay, so we are denoting initial pressure of A is Pi, and the total pressure, that means the total pressure if you denote it as Pt, correct? That is the initial pressure. That means initial pressure means when time t is equal to 0, right? Time t is equal to 0 means initial pressure. Okay, the initial pressure, if you say it as Pi, P initial, then Pt is the total pressure. Now what will be the total pressure? Total pressure you can calculate by how? Total pressure you can calculate by the Dalton's law of partial pressure. You have studied, isn't it, in 11th standard. Well, Pt is equal to, what are the reactants and products? The partial pressure of all the gases, isn't it? So it will be Pa plus Pb plus Pc. So this is the total pressure. This is how we calculate the total pressure. How? By Dalton's law of partial pressure. Okay. Now coming back, A giving B plus C, if Pi is the initial pressure, and listen, if X atmos pressure is the decrease, or if X is the decrease in pressure. Okay, now when time t is equal to 0, it is, the pressure is Pi, correct? I will write here. The pressure is Pi. Okay, at that time, what will be this B and C? It is 0 because nothing has happened. Initially it is there, correct? Okay. Now, at time t is equal to t, at any time, any given point of time, if X, see, if X is the decrease in concentration, what is it? X is the decrease in concentration. If X is the decrease in concentration, then at time t is equal to t, what will be the pressure of A? X is decreased. That means that then the pressure of the A will be Pi minus X. Am I right? Because initially it was Pi. Now if X is the decrease, then what will be the pressure after a time t for A? Pi minus X. But at the same time, the reactants are decreasing, you know it. But at the same time, what about the product? It is increasing, isn't it? So how much will be the increase in the pressure for this product B and C? Whatever is the decrease, that will be the increase in the pressure. So if it is X is the decrease in the pressure, then if 1 mole of B and 1 mole of C is obtained as product, then here I can write X moles are obtained and here X is the increase in pressure of B, and here also X is the increase in pressure of C for 1 mole of B and 1 mole of C. Is it clear? This type you have studied in last year's chemical equilibrium. If alpha is the dissociation constant, we have calculated the Ka, if you are remembering. Okay, if you are just like the step. Okay, now what we have to do? We have to calculate the PT, that is total pressure. So what is total pressure? PT is equal to, tell me, PT is equal to what is PA? PA is PI minus X, correct? PI minus X plus PB. What is PB? X plus X. Then what is PC? Again X. Correct? Isn't it? So what will happen now? This minus X and plus X will cancel out, and what you will get, I will write here, that is PT is equal to PI plus X. See? This is equation number 1. So what is total pressure? Total pressure is PI plus X. Now if you want, if the numericals demands you to calculate the decrease in pressure, then this formula is also important, it's applicable, that is X is equal to, what is X? PT minus PI. See, if you want to calculate, if the numerical demands you, or if the numerical is asked to find out X for a first order gaseous phase reaction, then this can be applied. Okay, well, now what will we do? You know, we have to calculate the rate constant. That's why we are doing all this, isn't it? Okay. Now we will see how to calculate the rate constant of a reaction, or K of this gaseous first order reaction. Let it be like that. Okay. Now, what is the general equation for a first order reaction? The general equation for a first order reaction, K is equal to, what is it? K is equal to 2.303 by T. Then, tell me, log to the base 10 R0 by R. Once again I will tell you, K is equal to 2.303 by T log to the base 10 of R0 by R. Now what is R0? The initial concentration. And now what is R? The concentration at any given point of time, say T. This is the general equation. Now this we have to apply with respect to the pressure, isn't it? Because we are dealing with pressure. Now how will you write for the pressure? We will write it as K is equal to 2.303 by T log to the base 10 of what is R0 in comparison with the pressure. What is R0? That is PI, isn't it? If I say P0, well, but we took it as PI. So I will write it as, we took it as PI. You can take P0 also, no problem. Okay, so we will say the concentration of PI divided by the concentration of PA. What is PA? What is PA? PA is the concentration of the reactant A with or any given point of time T. Correct? PA is the concentration, like R. What is R? R is the concentration of the reactant at any point of time T. In the same way, PA is equal to the pressure of the gas A at any given point of time T. Clear? Okay. Now, then just substitute this. We can substitute what? We can take the value of PA. Okay. How will you take the value of PA? See, in this case, we will have, listen, one more I will write, that is PT is equal to PI plus this. Okay. Now what is PA? PA is, okay, now I will write here. Can I write here? Okay. I will write here. Listen. Now then in this equation, listen, K is equal to 2.303 by T log, correct? P of I by, what is PA? PA I can write it as what? PA is PI minus X. Can I write PA as PI minus X? Can I? Definitely. Why? See, here what I have written? PI minus X. Here it is X, here it is X. Initially it is 0. Time T is equal to T, T is equal to 0. See? Come back to the equation. What is it? This PA, this is PA, right? This is PI, the initial. What is this? PA, that is the concept, the pressure of A at a constant, at a given time T. Correct? So I can write in PA can be written as PI minus X. Correct? PI minus X. Now if I put the value of X, what is X? X is PT minus PI. You got it? What I am saying? Okay. So if I write, listen, K is equal, it's very simple. K is equal to 2.303 by T log to the base 10 of, can you see the board? Okay. PI by PI minus, what is X? X is PT minus PI. See? Log PI minus, I put the value X is equal to PT minus PI. Now what will I get? Can I rub this? Okay. That is equal to same as this. Okay. Then log PI minus PI minus PI. What is that? PI minus of minus, that is plus. So plus 2PI, correct? Plus 2PI minus PT. Just don't go to that equation. You can derive at any point of time. Just have the funda equation with you. That's all. What is the funda equation? All other equations you can derive by yourself if you know the concept. That's it. I just simply said like this. If PT is given, PI is given, you can calculate the K. Correct. If you want to calculate the X, you know PT minus PI. So just the rearrangement of all that. That's all. But the funda equation is this. This you have to study. This is for the other one and this is for the gaseous phase. Just you study this concepts, then you can try it out as and when the numericals comes. That's all. So this is the most important equation, that is analogy to this. Analogy to this. This is the equation for what? This is the equation for the first order gas phase reaction. Numericals can come. Okay. Till 3-4 years it is not coming, but it can come. You don't know. Okay. Since so many topics are cut down. Okay. So it can come. So please go through it. There is one in-text question there. Please do it today itself. Okay. There is one solved example for this. Just go through the numericals. Any doubt? Let me. Okay. So that's all about what? The first order gas phase reaction. So it's very simple. Just to have this equation A plus B giving C. Time t is equal to 0. Pi is the initial pressure. 0 and 0. At time t is equal to C. Pi minus X. What is X? X is the decrease in pressure. You calculate the atmosphere. Okay. Then at whatever is the decrease, that must be the increase in the product side. So X and X. Now just apply the funda equation. That's all. Very, very easy. Just 2.303 by T logarithm to the base 10 of initial concentration. See R0. If you want P0, anything. Pi by R. That is PA. That is RC. There some children will get the confusion here. You write PA here, then how it comes at Py minus X? It's nothing but only this. At the time T, see, at the time T, what is the pressure of A? Pi minus X. That is this. That's all. Okay. So got it? Clear? Understood? Now we will see the next topic. Is okay. Next topic is a very, very simple topic, that is half-life period. You have heard about half-life in radioactive elements. We will say the T-half of tritium. What is tritium? The isotope of hydrogen, isn't it? That is 21 minutes. Or if you say the T-half of radioactive polonium is say X minutes or something like that. So that there you have heard of about T-half. Now what exactly is T-half? Okay, that we will study here, and you have to only study the T-half or the half-life period of a zero-order reaction and the first-order reaction. That's all. Only two reactions, because you are concentrating, NCERT is concentrating more on zero-order and first-order. But for the JEE and the competitive exams, they will go for second-order also. Okay. Well, now we will see the half-life period of a zero-order reaction. Correct? We will see the half-life period of a zero-order reaction. Now, what actually half-life means? half-life. Okay, now we can represent, normally we represent the time as T, the time taken 50 seconds or 1 hour. Okay, but half-life period means you denote the T as T half. Okay, now we will see what is the equation for T half. Just substitute in the rate equation, that is it. Okay, now we will see how the equation goes. You know, right? T is equal to T half. Now R0 is equal to R0 by 2. So if the concentration of the reactant is reduced to half, that time is called as the half-life period. Correct? Now for a zero order, listen, for a zero order, what is the equation for a rate constant? I will tell you. The formulas we have to be thorough with this. The rate constant for a zero order first order, the half-life of a zero order first order, the unit of rate constants for a zero first and second, then that's it. Because temperature there is omitted, the portion is omitted. So this much you have to study thoroughly. Because if numericals come, you have to apply it. Okay. Now K is equal to, what is it? R0, you are remembering, R0 minus R by T. This is the equation for a rate constant for a zero order. Now what you should do? You should put T as T half, okay? T as T half and R as what? Sorry, I'm really sorry. R. Really sorry. R is taken as R0 by 2. Listen, when T is equal to T half, R means the concentration of the reactant at a point T is reduced to half. That we are taking. That is, the R becomes R0 by 2. What is R0 by 2? The initial concentration, half of the initial concentration we are taking instead of R. That's it. Okay, just keep in mind. Okay. Now, what will happen? So, R becomes R0 by 2. I am really sorry. Just take it out. Not R0. It is R. See, how can be the initial concentration R0 as R0 by 2? You can't have it in this equation, right? Just a logic. Okay. Just, I got that twist in the tongue. That's it. It got wrong. So, R0 is always R0, right? Because initial concentration. But you can have the concentration of R as R0 by 2. Clear? Okay. That's it. Okay. So, we will derive it. So, it will become R0 minus, R becomes R0 by 2. Correct. R0 minus R0 by 2 divided by this T, you will put it as here, T half, and the K will become the denominator. See? Listen. That is R0 minus R by T. T becomes T half. You put here, this side. So, T becomes T half and K becomes K. Correct. Now, what is R0 minus R0 by 2? What is R0 minus R0 minus R0 by 2? That is 1 minus half, so half. So, it will become T half is equal to R0 by 2K. This is the very simple. This is the equation for T half. Once again I am telling you, R is reduced, the concentration of R is reduced to half of the initial concentration, not R0. Just keep in mind. Okay. So, this is the equation, that is T half is equal to R0 by 2K. Now, what it says? It says that half-life period of a zero order reaction is directly proportional to the initial concentration and inversely proportional to rate constant. See what it means? T half is directly proportional to R0, that is initial concentration, and it is inversely proportional to K, that is rate constant. Correct? This much is clear. This is clear, right? Now we will say for the first order. Okay. What is the T half or the equation for a first order reaction? Listen. First order reaction. What is the formula for a first order reaction? K. K is, tell me, 2.303 by T log R0 by R. This is the rate constant equation. Okay, very important. There are two equations. Okay, and the graph. Okay. Now, just what you have done in zero order, you just substitute the same way in the first order. T will become T half and R will become R0 by 2, not R0. R will become R0 by 2. Okay. So, we will put T half is equal to 2.303 by K, because K is here and T is here. So, K into logarithm of R0 is like that, and the R will become what? R will become R0 by 2. This is correct, isn't it? So, R0 by 2. So, by 2 will get where? By 2 will come up. Okay, R0 will get cancelled. So, it will be not 3 by K log 2. Okay. Now, coming to the logarithm. Actually, for the competitive exams, you have to study by heart from log 1 to 10. Log 10 is 1. Okay. So, logarithm, the value of log 2 is 0.3010. Right. That I will teach you in one lesson, like logarithms, anti-logarithms also calculating. One session I will teach you, no problem. Okay, don't worry about that. I will tell the maths teacher will take a class on that. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so just put the value of log 2 in this. So what will be it? That is equal to what? That is equal to 2.303 into 0.3010. What is it? It is log 2. So by K. So that will become, okay, that will become what? That will become 0.693 by K. So this is the equation for the half-life period of a first order reaction. Got it? This is the equation for a first order reaction. So clear? So now what all you studied till now? You have studied the equation for a zero order reaction is rate constant is R0 minus R by T. Correct? This is a zero order reaction. Now for a that is zero order. Now for a first order, K is equal to 2.303 by T logarithm of R0 by R. Correct? You got it? Okay. Now coming to the T half. What is T half? T half for zero order is equal to R0 divided by 2K. And for the first order, T half is equal to 0.693 by K. See, for a first order reaction, T half is independent of the initial concentration. See, there is no R0 value here. But the T half for a zero order reaction is dependent on the initial concentration. Both are inversely proportional to K, the rate constant. That's okay. But what is the difference? In the zero order, it is dependent or directly proportional to R0, whereas the T half is independent of the initial concentration in first order reaction. Understood? Is it clear? Okay. Just remember, R is getting R0 by 2. That's all. Okay. Now we will see the last topic. Why I say last topic is, in this chapter, the chemical kinetics, the last portion, that is the temperature dependence, then the collision theory, that was very important for that, collision for that matter, collision theory, temperature dependence and the catalyst, they have reduced, they have omitted, they have cut down that portion. Okay, that is why this is the last, the coming topic is the last portion in chemical kinetics. Okay, and that is called as a pseudo first order reaction. What is it? Pseudo first order reaction. Pseudo means false. Okay, so we will see what is the false in that reaction. Okay, so But as far as chemistry, I mean the chemical reaction, the chemical kinetics is considered, in the first class, if you remember, I told you the factors depend on the rate of a reaction. There we told that the factors are the concentration, the pressure, the nature, the surface area, as well as the temperature. And in that I specified two things as concentration and temperature. So in this year you have only to study the concentration and the temperature they have omitted. But still I will say the funda of the temperature. Okay, so after this I will just say what is that, because in chemical kinetics you have to study the mechanism. That's it. Now if you don't know the mechanism of how a reactant is being converted to a product, then what is the use, isn't it? So I will just say the funda and then we will make it. Okay. Now just listen. Just listen. That is pseudo first order reaction. Okay. That is, what is it? Pseudo first order reaction. Pseudo first order reaction. Pseudo means false. So something is getting false here. So we will see what is it. Okay. Normally, when we talk about elementary reactions, do you remember? The reactions can be classified as a simple reaction or elementary step reaction and complex reactions. Okay. So, in case of an elementary reaction, okay, what is it? What do you mean by elementary reaction? Single step reaction. Okay. So, in a single step reaction, okay, for example, A plus B giving C. Hypothetical situation. Okay. A plus B giving C. And how you say it is a single step or elementary reaction? You don't know. But experimentally it is proven that, okay, this is a single step reaction or elementary reaction. Okay. Then it's very important. Then the rate of a reaction is equal to, see, the rate of a reaction is equal to rate constant into the concentration of A to the power 1 and B to the power 1. Listen very carefully. What we have studied in rate law, the order of the power of the reactant may or may not be the stoichiometric coefficient, and if it is equal to the stoichiometric coefficient, then I told you it will be a coincidence. Correct? Okay. But while studying the mechanism of reactions, a scientist called Guldberg and Wagge, they studied or they put a theory of law of mass action as they told that their theory comes true in this case. Their theory comes true in this case. That means here, very very important, here in an elementary reaction or in a single step reaction, which is called as an elementary reaction, the rate constant K is equal to concentration of A to the power 1. That means this stoichiometry, see, it will be the power will be exactly equal to the stoichiometry of the reaction in the case of a single step reaction. Or I can say in other words as, in an elementary reaction or a single step reaction, what it will become? Most of the reaction, that is 99%, I can say for a single step reaction, the molecularity equals order. Listen very carefully. This is here it says, isn't it? Listen. Molecularity is what? Molecularity is 1 and 1. What is molecularity? Number of reacting species, whether it came an atom, ion or a molecule, which collide simultaneously to give product. That is molecularity. So, what is the molecularity here? 1 plus 1, that is 2. Isn't it? 2. Molecularity is 2. What is the order? 1 plus 1, 2. So, normally 99% of an elementary reaction, the molecularity will be equal to order of a reaction. But the 1% it states that it will be a pseudo order reaction. I mean a pseudo, here it is a first order because there are 2. If it is 2, 1 less, that means pseudo. If it is the order is 2, it will act as 1. If the order is 3, it will act as 2. That is why it is called as a pseudo order. Here it is pseudo first order reaction. So 1% it shows that the molecularity will be not equal to order. That is the concept. Okay, now we will see how it comes. Okay, now we will see, now you got the concept? Okay, now you will apply it. Okay, now you have to study one reaction for that. Okay, 1 or 2 maybe. Okay, the reaction is as follows, that is the hydrolysis of ester. What is it? Hydrolysis of ester. That is an example of pseudo first order reaction. In the last exam also they have asked this question. Explain what is pseudo first order reaction. So it's important. Okay. So hydrolysis of ester. What is ester? We have studied in 10th standard. What is ester? When an acid plus alcohol will give you an ester. Okay, organic. So what is ester? What is the functional group? COO. Okay. Now if suppose we have an ester CH3COO C2H5. What is it? Ethyl acetate. What is it? Ethyl acetate. On hydrolysis. What do you mean hydrolysis? Hydrolysis means reaction with water. Okay. So when it is react with water, you will get CH3 acid. Okay, acid plus alcohol. Because when acid plus alcohol react to give ester, that is esterification. And when ester on reacting with sodium hydroxide or water, if sodium hydroxide you call it as saponification, you will get same acid and what? Alcohol. Okay. Now coming back to the point. Now there are 2 reactants here. Okay. The molecularity is 1 and 1, 2. But here we assume that this water is a solvent, isn't it? And the solvent is present in large excess, correct? Then if in this case, if I say the water is in excess, for example, if you want to have a number, if I say this is 1 mole and this is 1000 mole, just for a sake. Okay. If it is 1 mole and this is 1000 mole, when these two reacts, the concentration of water has very little in the when compared to the concentration of this ester, isn't it? Because this is in excess. So it does not depend. The concentration of water has got no effect when compared to the concentration of this reactant. That is what I want to tell you. Okay. That means if this water is in excess, or if you can say generally, if any one of the reactant is in excess, then now this is in excess, water being a solvent. Okay. Now the concentration does not have any effect on the changing concentration of this has got no effect, nullifying this effect. Okay. So what happens? I can say or I can write K is equal to, I will say, rate of reaction R is equal to K into listen reactant, that is CH3COO C2H5, correct, and H2O. Because there are 2 reactants. But what I said, the concentration of water is excess, so you can take that concentration as a constant. That's the point. Got it? So here I am taking the concentration of water as a constant. So what I will do, this constant and this constant, say this K is a constant and here this is also a constant. So what I can write as, see, what I will write it as, R is equal to K constant into water, the reactant constant, I can write it as K dash. Correct. Now what is K dash? K dash is equal to concentration of water into K. It's again another constant. Correct. Now K dash into, what is it? CH3COO C2H5. So this is the what? This is the rate of what? The hydrolysis of an ester. The rate of reaction for the hydrolysis of ester is, see, what is the order of the reaction now? What is it? To the power 1. So this this type of reaction is called to be a pseudo, what is it? Pseudo first order reaction. Correct? First order. Okay, this should be 1 and 1, 2. The order must be 2 and the molecularity must be 2. But I told you for an elementary reaction in some case, exceptional cases like 1%, it will come like this. And that is called as pseudo first order reaction. Actually the order must be 2, but the point is if one of the reactant is excess, then that is again has to be a constant. So this constant and this constant will become again another constant. Then the rate is only dependent on the concentration of the one of the reactant. You got it? So this is about the pseudo first order reaction. It is very, very important. Last year also the question came for CBSE exam. Okay. So that is it. So that is pseudo first order reaction. So I hope you understood. Now before completing this topic or this session, I will say just 2-3 words or 2-3 concepts of the temperature. You don't have to study this, but still you have to know that. The effect of temperature on the rate of concentration is that a scientist called Arrhenius, a famous Arrhenius equation is there. That is K is equal to A into e raised to minus E by RT. You don't want to study, but still I am telling you, K is equal to A into e raised to minus EA by RT. This is a very famous equation called as the Arrhenius equation, which states that for every 10-degree rise in temperature, I am telling you once again, the temperature dependence I am telling you, that is for every 10-degree rise in temperature, it is experimentally seen that the rate constant or the rate of a reaction is getting doubled. That is what Arrhenius found out. Then came the famous Arrhenius equation where A is the Arrhenius constant. So it states that for every 10-degree rise in temperature, what happens? The rate of reaction gets doubled. Okay, so that just for your information I am telling that this is an Arrhenius equation. And okay, so if somebody asks you what is Arrhenius equation, and in 12th standard you have to know that. That's why I am telling you. Okay, so that's about the temperature dependence. And one more thing, the last thing is, see, here we have to consider the collision theory or how a reactant is being converted to product. A simple thing. Listen, when a reactant is getting converted to product, it does not simply convert into product. It has to go through an energy barrier. Listen carefully. If a reactant is getting converted to product, it has to go through an energy barrier and then only it will convert it into a product. Okay, I will just draw a graph for that. I will just draw a graph that is, see, that is the reactants and the coordination products like this. It's very, very, very important graph. That's why I am telling you. Very, very, very important. See, this is the reactant. Okay, and this is the product. Always the product has got a less energy. Now, what I want to say is, see, the reactant will go to a higher energy level and form a complex which is called as activated complex. Okay, it will form an activated complex and then only it will form to the product. And the energy required to convert the reactant to this complex or the transition state is called as E activation. Just to have a note of that, that's all. So you know what is E activation? That is to form a complex, a reactant forming a complex, then it will only convert it to product. So these are the two things I want to mention. Okay, that's all. So hope you understood. Then one request is just read the collision theory and this temperature dependence. Then only you will have a hang of that or a feel of that of the kinetics. Okay, so just go through it. Till then, keep studying. Thank you.